Okay, today's topic is whether you should wholesale or rehab and the pros and cons in both. Pros and cons of both. I bring this up because I were doing a couple of videos about how to start wholesaling and how to start rehabbing, and I realized I really haven't given you the pros and cons of each to decide which is better for you. So the pros and cons of wholesaling versus rehab. So first, let's talk about the advantages. Let's talk about wholesaling. So the advantages of wholesaling, the most obvious ones, are that you don't need a lot of money to start. You need a little bit of money. You got to buy a list. You got to skip trace the list. You got to call. You may have to pay for a little bit of other things, and we're going to talk about that in the next video. But relatively small startup costs, not zero, but something. You have to market, um, and not so that's the main advantage. Not a lot of money. Um, and you can get paid relatively quickly as compared to rehabbing. In New York, it's not too quick, but if you had a deal right away, you might make money in a couple months, month or two. So, the disadvantages to wholesaling are a few. First of all, it's a lot of rejection. You got to kiss a lot of frogs and call a lot of people and hear a lot of no's before you get yeses. It's a two-step process, so you're gonna have to get somebody to agree to sell it to you, and then you got to find a buyer, and you also got to make sure that during the transaction that the property can be assigned. You have to be on top of that. There's little things, but the main advantage is that you don't have a big outlay of cash up front, and you can make some money right away. Not right away. I'm sorry. You can make money relatively soon, in a few months. The main advantages to rehabbing are you can get a property right away, so you can buy from a wholesaler, either from us or any other wholesaler, um, and you can do it even much quicker than wholesaling. The truth is that you get it faster. You can find a property right away because there's a lot of properties out there to be wholesaled from wholesalers. The disadvantage is you're going to need cash. You're going to need money. It doesn't have to be your money. You can get it from somewhere else. When we started, after we put all our money into the first deal we did, and we had two other deals we wanted to buy, what we did is we borrowed hard money for a big percentage of it, and then we borrowed the other part, the equity part of it, and we gave them a percentage of the profits. So that is something you could do. We'll talk more about that uh, in the rehabbing detail. But these are the pros and cons. And you can make more. You can make more. Usually make more money rehabbing, right? So wholesaling in New York, I'd say the average person, the average deal is between $20,000 and $40,000 wholesaling, and in rehabbing, the average profit is probably closer from $40,000 to $100,000 rehabbing, if I had to guess. So there's more money in that. Another advantage of rehabbing is that you can actually verify the deal. So very often when you borrow money, either for either part of that, either private money for the whole thing or private money for a portion of it from someone, or hard money, they want to see a track record. If you rehab, you can show a track record. If you wholesale, you can't really verify much of a track record because you went on contract, but you never really closed on the property. So in the later videos, we're going to talk about the system that we've sort of created for starting the wholesale, and is a simpler system for rehabbing, but you have to really understand what you want to do. So most people that call say, I went online and I saw the wholesaling is great because online you see wholesaling. You can start wholesaling, you'll make $12,000 in 15 minutes, right? It's not so simple. When we started really wholesaling and marketing direct to seller, it took us 8 months before we saw one penny, and we were spending a lot of money. So we had a pipeline of deals that we were finishing rehabbing, so we had money coming in from that. But um, I don't know if most people can wait 8 months to get paid on something. Now, if you're not expending a lot of cash, that makes it easier. If you believe in it, obviously that makes it easier. But for a lot of people, if they're going to do something for 4 or 5 months and not really see much positive results or gets a few maybes, and the few yeses didn't work out because that's probably what's going to happen, um, people get discouraged. So if you're somebody easily discouraged, or you're somebody who's going to be discouraged or not resolute to doing this for a long term, wholesaling is a system that's going to crush you because, like I said, you're going to get people screaming at you. You're going to get people threatening to call the authorities on you. You're going to get people telling you you're a scam artist. You're going to get whenever you're going direct to seller, like in any sales business, you're going to get a tremendous amount of rejection. I mean, you're going to eat a lot of crap, and unless you catch a lucky deal here or there right away, you're going to have to eat that crap while you're not making any money, and it's not so simple. So you need to be thinking really long term if you're marketing direct to sellers. I know online it seems like this is something where you're going to call 100 people and 3 of them are going to say yes to you and 2 of them are going to end up being contracts and you're going to make $20,000 in 3 months. It just wasn't our experience, and it's not our experience now. It's something we do all the time. And we're spending a lot of money on direct mail, and we're marketing in multiple ways. So, in my opinion, if you're not somebody that deals with rejection well, wholesaling is not for you. I know it seems simple, but that's the truth. So, the advantage of rehabbing is there's really not a lot of rejection. There's other problems, there's other crap, but you're going to just buy a property from a wholesaler where the numbers make sense, and you're going to borrow somewhere between 70 and 90% of that purchase price from a hard money lender, and 100% of the construction costs from the same hard money lender, and you're going to need between 10 and 30% of the purchase price. You're going to need closing costs, and you're going to need monthly payments, and maybe a little money to get the contractor started. So you got to do the numbers on that, and we'll go through some examples in the more detailed video about rehabbing. But understand, if you can borrow that money or you have that money, you're going to hit snags for sure during the construction process. Might have issues with a contractor. You might have issues with the municipality, with the building department. You might have issues when you when you finish it and you want to get a buyer for it. But you're not going to have a lot of people telling you to drop dead or F yourself. And that is something you're going to have when you are marketing direct to sellers. Because in New York, as we've gone through, it's different. People have a thicker, not a thicker skin, but people are more wary about being scammed in New York, right? People are more open in other parts of the country. If you call someone in the Carolinas, not everywhere, but some parts of the Carolinas, and not everyone, of course, but a lot of people, and you have a conversation with them, they'll have a conversation with you. Send them a postcard, they'll say, hey, you're interested in buying my house, let's talk about it. In New York, we get calls saying, I'm on the do not mail list, which doesn't exist, or I'm going to report you to the Attorney General because this is harassment. We sent them a postcard. That's harassment. So that's the kind of thing you're going to get in New York, and you need to be able to deal with that if you are wholesaling. You need to understand that too. If you're rehabbing, you're not going to have a lot of rejection. Again, you're going to have trouble, issues. Nothing's easy, but you're not going to have people telling you you're a rip-off artist. So you need to know, what kind of person you are. We when we did this, we rehabbed for 4 years. For 4 years straight, we bought at auctions, we bought online, we bought on MLS, and we did that. We didn't even understand the concept of marketing, and I think it was foolish. I wish we would have started marketing then, but because I think we could have bought cheaper, and I think you're never going to buy cheap enough to wholesale buying in the ways that we bought. Almost never. I mean, very rare. Can't scale a business that way. So that's why we switched to going direct to seller, because we wanted to grow the business and we wanted to do less construction work. So we still do construction work, but we're trying to minimize it. Understand construction work is an issue, but if you're someone who just wants to, let's just say, make $100,000 a year from this, you can rehab 2 deals, and you don't even do them at the same time. You can rehab 1 deal, 6 months, and rehab the next deal. So you can manage 1 deal. For us, we had like 15 or 16 construction projects going on at one time. It was almost impossible for us to manage, and it was a problem. And we couldn't juggle all those balls, and contractors were a problem. But if you have a contractor, most contractors can handle 1 job, certainly the first job from you, because they're going to do a great job for you because they believe that you're going to give them endless work and keep all their guys busy. But we found with a lot of contractors, when we gave them more than 1 job, they really were not able to manage 2 things at once. And a lot of contractors you're going to find are like that. So, like I said, I'm not saying rehab is a walk in the park. There's issues, but it's different kind of issues. And you make more money for dealing with those issues, but you wait a lot longer to get paid on it. And there really is a clock ticking. Every day you own a rehab property, you're paying interest on your financing. You're paying taxes on the property. You're paying insurance on the property. You're paying utilities on the property. In the winter, you got to pay for snow removal. In the summer, you got to pay for landscaping. That's things you got to anticipate in advance. Whereas wholesaling, while you may or may not be paying for marketing, there's no clock, because when the deal closes, you get paid and it's over. So it's a different type of thinking. Wholesaling is simpler, but you get paid less for sure. Rehabbing is more complex once you buy the property, but you get paid more, but you got to wait for it. So again, there's pros and cons to both. If you want to do both, I completely understand. But you need to focus, marketing on the wholesaling side is a really big part of the business, and you need to be doing that or paying somebody to do that. So there's pros and cons to both. The next videos are going to be how to start wholesaling and then how to start rehabbing if you want to.